Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming a legend in the world of 80s horror films, Thom Mathews. You may remember him. He's Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. He was also in Return of the Living Dead and Dangerously Close, Midnight Cabaret, so many great 80s movies. And going to have him on today. I met him at Sinister Creature Con in Sacramento a couple months ago, and he was a really great guy. And I'm happy to have him on today and stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. Talk about those rules and a couple others and stuff. Um, so, yeah, and also I wanted to say happy birthday to Julie Dawn Cole, who played Veruca in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And she was just an awesome guest when I had her on this summer. Happy birthday, Veruca. I know you want it now, but I hope you are getting it now over in England where you are. Love you, Julie. So, yeah, here is my interview with Thom Mathews. Hey, Tom.
Tommy, how are you?
I'm great. How have you been?
Pretty good. A little sad. Jimmy Carter passed on Tuesday, so we're kind of mourning him.
Yeah,
He was in Return of the Living Dead.
of course. Yeah, that guy just had an amazing career.
He has his life. I mean, I remember meeting him. I was actually, the age I am now is when he got the part in the when I met him 34 years ago, or whatever it was. And we had the best stories when we're sitting there in the makeup chair, and he had the greatest stories. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and does acting stuff.
was he a member of the actor studio?
Uh, I don't know. He studied with Kazan.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's pretty close to it.
yeah, yeah, it was. It was all in New York. On Broadway with Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
Down the corner, and really good friends with Jason Robards. And he watched Michael Douglas grow up.
Mm-hmm.
He was close to the family stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a great career. He's a Pathmark man, you know. I don't know if you know anything about the East Coast, but they had a big supermarket chain called the Pathmark.
No, I didn't know about.
Yeah, so he was a Pathmark man for 30 years. Every week he would give his specials and had tons of frequent flyer miles, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is such a tragedy and stuff, but it's such an honor because I've loved your stuff for quite a long time, and I appreciate you taking the time today.
Sure.
So, growing up in Los Angeles, did you always know that you were going to be an actor?
Absolutely not. I grew up in Hollywood. I was actually born on Hollywood Boulevard at the Hollywood Presbyterian,
Mm-hmm.
and grew up in Covina. My mom and dad bought a brand new house out in Covina. I think there was some orchards there before. Anyway, we grew up there. They got divorced. I moved back out to Hollywood, lived with my grandmother and my brother and my aunt
Mm-hmm.
right there in Hollywood. And going through high school, kind of floundering, not knowing what I wanted to do. And I was dating this girl, and she said, "Why don't you become an actor?" And I was like, "Oh, that's what I'll do." Because I knew I didn't want to be in an office someplace.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be out there. So I've been doing that. So that kind of started me studying. And it took me about 3 years before I got my first gig.
Did you study with any famous acting coaches out there?
I studied with Milton Casalas and Jeff Corey for a little bit, and mostly it was Milton's entourage and all his teachers and stuff over at the Skylight Theater and the Beverly Hills Playhouse. And then Howard Fine, studied with him for a while, long time, a lot of years.
Mm-hmm. I think I interviewed somebody who studied with Milton Casalis once. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was a good teacher. And
How,
Jeffrey Tamborn was a student of his, but he would fill in for Milton every once in a while. he was amazing. He was so inspirational as a teacher. Great actor, but he was a wonderful teacher as well.
Mm-hmm. Your first movie was you had an uncredited role in The Woman in Red.
That's right. That's right. That's my first film. Done a bunch of commercials, handful of commercials before that.
Yeah, did you audition for Gene Wilder?
I did, and the interview, the audition consisted of a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Just the handshake.
It shook my hand. That was
it. And he must have been great to work with because he's such a legend.
He was great. He was great. All my scenes were with Joe. Gene was directing, of course, and Boss, and Richard Gordon, of course, was great.
Yeah. Oh, that classic scene where Charles Grodin pretends to be blind in the fancy restaurant and he knocks over everything. Classic. Love that scene.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was shot up in San Francisco, where I'm from, and I love this movie because it's got such a great commentary on midlife crisis.
Right. It does. Something I can relate to now.
Mm-hmm. And then comes the immortal classic, The Return of the Living Dead. Was that just a standard audition?
No, it wasn't. It was I auditioned for Dan. Well, I auditioned for Sandy, so she called me in, and then went back to audition for Dan O'Bannon.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it went well. Didn't hear anything for 9 months. Didn't think I got it. Moved on, was auditioning and stuff, and then 9 months later, I get the call. Said, I got another call back. So I go in, and they're reading me with the girls who play Tina.
Mm-hmm.
They read. So that 9 month span, they were dealing with the litigation of the name, the title of the movie. There's some issue with it, so that's why it was a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
And Toby Hooper was scheduled to direct it originally.
Yeah.
And then Dan stepped in, and he was great. He did a great job. I think, he did a small thing. We rehearsed 2 weeks before we started principal photography. And Clue hadn't been cast yet. He got cast in like the 11th hour.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't there. And that's when I met Jimmy Karen, and we've been friends ever since. We have the same birthdays, November 28th, so we always share our birthdays together. And I had him over here for the holidays and stuff at the house, and so he's going to be missed.
Would you say he was definitely your acting mentor?
I learned a lot from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing was just having. If I was a producer,
mm-hmm.
I would just hire him to have him on the set because he was so positive and loved acting, loved the art of acting, and just was so great to have around all the time. Never a bad word against anybody or anything. And like I said, he had all the great stories. It was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie was a huge staple of my childhood, and when I first got the DVD like 15 years ago and stuff, I had no idea of how chaotic and crazy the shooting of the movie was until I saw the documentary in 2010 and stuff, because apparently Dan O'Bannon wasn't an easy director to some people.
He wasn't. He was, and he wasn't. He wasn't with Clue because, like I said, Clue got he got on board late in the game. He had a lot of dialogue. He was really stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
And in his career, it was like a step down for Clue. I think that's how he saw it.
Yeah.
So there was also that issue. But for everybody else, I think he was great with me. I never had an issue with him. And I realized later on, as I worked some more, how special special of a time that was, because it was literally a collaboration, which was unusual for a writer-director, because usually they want you to stick to their words and their dialogue, but he was open to any suggestion, and we improvised some stuff, and it was really great.
And but everybody for the most part, like everybody in the cast, pretty much for the most part got along.
Yes. Yeah, during shooting, yeah, everyone got along.
Mm-hmm. I've had Linnea on the show twice, and she's interviewed me for her documentary. I just adore her. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, she is.
And Jewel, I've hung out with her once at a convention. She's a lot of fun. She makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Brian Peck, I met him once. Nice guy.
Yeah, very sweet guy.
The girl who sings "It's Party Time," Dinah Cancer, I met her. She's cool.
Awesome.
I hope.
Yeah, that's a great song. It's a great opening sequence too.
Mm-hmm.
The show.
Yeah. And Don Calfa, he was great to work with.
He was great. Very charming, very, quirky and spot on for the character, and, did his own thing. It was amazing to watch.
Mm-hmm. Did you?
We stayed friends as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see all these guys. We have these convention reunions, so we kind of kept everybody in touch, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that when you did the second one, it was going to be different from the original?
Yeah, the script is totally different. It kind of winks and plays more on the humor. The great thing about the first one is a true dark comedy. You laughed at the situations. You weren't laughing because we were making jokes.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't making jokes. You were just hysterically funny because of what we were doing, based in reality or the situation. So that made it really, really great. I mean, the scene where we're cutting off the yellow corpse's head, I was dying laughing, but I couldn't look at it at the same time, so I kept cranking my head back and forth because it was so gross, but so hysterically funny at the same time. And
yeah.
I've never felt that in another movie since.
Yeah, that is a funny moment, I have to say.
Yeah, the split dog coming alive and butterflies up in the upper right top of your screen, and the corpse is banging on the ice chest trying to get out of the room. It's just a classic.
Yeah, from what I remember too, they showed it again during the opening credit or the ending credits. They showed the skeleton popping out.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think Ken Wiederhorn, he gets a bad rap for the second one, but he did this great little zombie movie in the 70s called Shockwaves, which I recommend to people who are into zombie movies that never heard of it. It's a great movie, and it's kind of sad that he gets such a bad rap for this movie.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
Yeah. It's got Brooke Adams, one of the kids from Flipper, John Carradine, and Peter Cushing.
Oh, awesome! I'll check it out.
Yeah. Then you did, I believe, the first of 11 movies you did with Albert Pine called Dangerously Close.
That's right. Yeah.
I think Albert Pine is a genius. What is it you like about his directing?
Well, he's such a sweet guy, and his films are so against kind of who he is, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, where he comes up with it, I'll have no idea, but the characters that he has and situations that he's created, he's so easygoing, such a sweet, lovable guy, and so that was the beginning of a long career friendship with him as well. Yeah, he hired me for a lot of different roles. A lot of roles that, like, I did a movie called Down Twisted, and the guy was scripted as 6'5", 220 pounds. So I started working out. I dyed my hair dark,
Mm-hmm.
black, because that's how it was scripted, but it didn't looked right on me, so I just completely bleached it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't tell him. And I showed up on set, and I put this silver cap and this gold cap on my teeth, and found his blue suede jacket. Just went down there. He didn't freaking recognize me. It was great. He goes, "Oh, this is great." So he loved all the creative input that the actors would come up with. So it was a fun, creative time working with him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's a genius, and just yeah, you're right. He does think outside of the realm of who he is because you see him. He's this Asian guy, and you expect him to like make mostly martial arts
It's like
movies.
an Asian surfer dude, you know?
Yeah.
He's from Hawaii. That's the kind of how he grew up. He did say something. Um, you know, he realized later on in life how his parents just, you know, promoted him or encouraged him to make films because he says he kept giving him film to go process. He says I found out later it's really expensive, and he was doing it all the time. So that was, you know, something that was really amazing that his parents encouraged him and never said no, and they just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
supporting him that way. So that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Then you became my favorite Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. And did you audition?
I did. I met Frank Mancuso Jr. and probably a room of 12 other people, and I think it was me and two other guys who were auditioning, and yeah, the rest is history. Got hired and shot that in Covington, Georgia for about 5-6 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, had a lot of fun making that movie. It's probably the closest at the time I played to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I consider myself a character actor,
Yeah.
so that was probably the closest character I played to myself at that time.
Yeah, it's my favorite of all the sequels, and I think it was the last good one. But I think 7 was part of the downward spiral, and then by the time they got to 9 at New Line Cinema, the franchise was dead. Although I do
Yeah,
think Kane was a great Jason. I just wish he had had better material, you know?
right. Yeah,
But
well, now with the new Halloween release, they're talking about maybe doing the same thing with Part 6, just forgetting everything after that.
yeah.
Because Part 6, I mean, everyone had someone to root for in Tommy Jarvis, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think people, instead of just being a slasher movie, they got emotionally involved with the character and was rooting for one of us, either me or the sheriff's daughter or, you know, any other of the other characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Tom McLaughlin directed. I've heard him do interviews. He seems like quite a character.
Yeah, he's got quite a career. He's doing rock and roll now, and
Yeah.
he'd love to do a sequel to Part 6, and so we'll see what happens. Because, you know, Halloween made $80 million on opening weekend, so that was making everyone stand up and have a second look at it.
I know everyone I'm talking to this month, the last week or so, has just been saying, Halloween was a huge hit. We're going to see more sequels the way that they should be done. You know, it's great.
Yeah, the old school '80s way.
Before you did Part 6, though, had you seen the other movies?
No, I got hired, and I went and did some research on Tommy Jarvis to see if I could bring any mannerisms or anything over to, you know, tie in the characters together. So I saw 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen Part 1, you know, years before. But, you know, I was a young actor in Hollywood, just happy to have a freaking job, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, last year when I interviewed Carrie Noonan, she told me she had the most meaningless death in the whole movie.
my favorite death was the sheriff's death.
Oh.
I just saw DJ again at convention in Nashville, and told me that was his favorite death. And I said that was my favorite death too. That was amazing. So.
Yeah, I saw CJ last week, and yeah, I interviewed him earlier this month. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a really gentleman and fast act all the way.
Mm-hmm.
A mountain of a man.
Yes, he is. He's a big guy. Then a year later, after you did that, you got to be in like the third Dirty Dozen movie, which was a TV movie, and
movie of the week.
Movie of the week, and you got to be in a movie with legends like Telly Savalas and Ernest Borgnine and Vince Edwards. What was that like? Was it intimidating?
No, not at all. I mean, there was 13 of us, 13 guys my age. Gary Graham, the Van Patten brothers.
Yep.
Randall Peck Cobb was in it. Hi. And I don't know if you knew that or not. I said different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Sorry. So yeah, that was fun. We shot that over in Bratislava, in Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
Telly was great. He's classic. It was really, really cold. The ground was frozen. We played a lot of poker. Vince and Van Patten liked to play poker, so did Jimmy and Telly and Distance and stuff. So it became annoying when they called us to the set because we were so into the poker games at the time.
Yeah. I was reading that Lee Marvin was too ill to be in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah. I heard he mentored a lot of young actors and stuff, like Jeff Bridges when he worked with him in The Iceman Cometh.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm. And then you did Midnight Cabaret. Do you have any memories of that?
Sure. Yeah, that was very artistically endeavor with the J. Dingo. Yeah, he had a great vision. I thought that was a really cool movie.
Yeah, I had Lisa Hart Carroll on recently. She's a lot of fun.
Oh, cool.
And Michael DeBars, he used to be a rock musician. He's a great actor.
Yeah, best friends with Don Johnson. That was his name at the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were best buddies.
Yeah, I think I saw him on Miami Vice once. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah, so I'm not surprised about that. But yeah, so you still act. I mean, you've never stopped working, right?
I did stop working. I stopped for about 20 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I stopped and had kids and life and
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a construction. I've done construction. My grandfather built sets for the studios. My dad was in construction, so I've always kind of done that, and it just kind of took off for me. So I had a company and had 18 employees at one point, and so that's what got me up and got me out the door every morning. Because it was costing me too much money to go on auditions.
Yeah.
I had an audition at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Wipe up my whole day.
Mm-hmm. But you've been doing conventions for a while, though, haven't you?
We do conventions, and we did a fan film for Friday the 13th. I don't know if you've seen it.
A fan film?
A fan film.
No, I haven't seen it.
Called Never Hike Alone. Go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Never Hike Alone. It's on YouTube. It's about 50 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
We released it at Telluride Horror Festival last year. And that was my comeback, as it were. Kind of takes place like a sequel of Part 6.
Mm-hmm.
Have a cameo at the end. And the executive producer on that one just wrote and directed a movie called Killer Therapy, which they're cutting together right now, which I was in.
Nice.
I did that one, and then I got another offer to do another movie called Warpath, which I had to turn down because it conflicted with Killer Therapy, and they pushed the schedule so I could be in it. So Killer Therapy wrapped on a Saturday. I flew to Pontiac, Michigan on a Sunday, and worked on a Monday for the new show.
Nice.
Warpath. And that's an old school Western. It's really, really a lot of fun.
Great. I love Westerns.
6-shooter and under the bounty hunter, and had a blast. So I'm back.
Awesome. I'll check out Never Hike Alone, definitely. And yeah, it was great. It was great meeting you at Sinister Creature Con back in June. Do you have any upcoming convention appearances you want to plug?
Just those two. Killer Therapy will probably be out. Probably have it all put together by the and then Airpath probably be out in probably 4 to 6 months.
Well, Tom, this.
Those two things, other than Never Hike Alone, would be like 500,000 hits already on YouTube.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out in a moment. But
I lost you.
I said I'm definitely going to check out Never Hike Alone after I'm done here, because that sounds like it'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, the kid did a really good job. The director is a horror fan, and he knows a lot about the franchise, about Friday the 13th. So, great guy. He's going to be a superstar one of these days. Vincent DeShante.
Vincent DeSharpe.
That's my word.
That's awesome. Well, Tom, this was great. I thank you so much. I hope you have a happy holiday season, and I'll see you again one day at a convention.
I look forward to it. That would be fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom, and you have yourself a great night.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Thom Mathews. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Tom. Those were great stories about horror in the 80s, and you've had an amazing career, and I am glad you are back. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!